We'll stay with this story and speak to the Director of Communications at the Department of Social Development in the province of the Eastern Cape, Mzukisi Solani. Good afternoon to you and thank you so much for your time. Let's just start firstly with, just how the families are holding up.
Well, we just wanted to start by indicating that this is a tragedy that obviously has affected the entire community, the entire country, and the entire province. And the MSC obviously would like to join all the other people that have already, voiced their concern and also their condolences to the affected people. It's still very much a shock in the entire community because a tragedy of this magnitude, obviously, it's not only confined to the people who are directly affected, but it affects the entire community. So that entire community is still very much in shock and in trauma. And that is why the social workers from the department, they are still there in that community, and they will continue to work with that community because, a trauma like this does not dissipate quite easily. It's going to take many, many, many years. It's still a shock in the community and in the family itself.
And how long are they expected to stay with this particular community, given the fact that, we were listening to some of the residents there, and they say that for them this has become a usual occurrence, that people get shot and killed, and they don't understand why. And that speaks of the level of trauma that they would have carried right up until this moment.
Well, look, we will be in that space for as long as we are needed. And obviously, as I've already indicated, it's going to take many, many, many years. And our social workers, obviously, on each and every day, they work in that community. They visit, that community. So that is why also the MSC has also encouraged people because the trauma might not necessarily be confined to a particular locality. If anyone is needing our services are available 24 hours, 7 days a week. So we hoping to be there for a long haul.
And when you were engaging with members of the community as the department, of course, investigations are still underway, but what are they saying, according to them, is going on there?
Well, it's a shock. It's something that I believe the police will do. Their utmost best. I believe they are going to make sure that we get to the bottom of this, to understand, what is the motive behind this. And obviously, that's the work of the police. And it's going to take everyone coming in. If there's anyone who has information, obviously, I think the police have invited people to come forward so that there is a clear definition of where does this come from.
And as you say, of course, that your services are available to anyone who needs them. But are you now planning to take a more proactive approach and possibly just spread them out during the throughout the province? Because when you think about the fact that we've seen certain shootings in different parts of the province, even last year as well. So what are you doing proactively in that regard as a department?
Look, Bogi, it's quite difficult, to anticipate, tragedy, as you know yourself. But as I've indicated, we've got services of social workers that are deployed within communities, and social workers are always available in those communities. So if people are going through all sorts of traumas, because trauma affect people differently, obviously, and our social workers and our workers are always available. So people must not hesitate, because we would like to encourage people to come forward, because it's very difficult sometimes for other people to open up, when you are going through a situation. So we in a proactive way, we can only say that if you feel feel that you are going through a particular, depressing situation, whether it's about this particular tragedy or any other depression that you're going through, we always encourage people to come through and, to talk to people that are close to them. And we're working with different partners, because that's another thing. It's not only social development, but we do work with other partners on the ground. So any other organization, any other person that is able, to be a reception for your uncomfortable situation, whether it's trauma or a depression or any other kind of an undue pressure that people are going through, we always encourage people to speak up.
And I suppose especially because, in recent days we've been reporting around incidents of cases of extortion, for example, and that puts pressure on people in various forms. But when it comes to this particular matter, will the department be giving the family some support when it comes to funeral arrangements, or is that still something that's going to be worked out?
It's very difficult to say it, obviously, at this moment, because remember, this thing is still still fresh, and the police are still on the ground, and there are still a lot of all sorts of assessments that are being done, not only by social development, by each and every partner. Everyone is on the ground to make sure that at least we do, bring some form of a relief, whether in terms of spiritual relief or counseling or any other form of a relief that is going to at least minimize the kind of pressure that that community is going through. So government in general, and even private people, obviously they will be on the ground as time goes by to make sure, or after assessments have been done of what is needed, to make sure that at least we minimize the kind of pressure that people are going through. Obviously that will be provided.
All right, Mzukisi, thank you so much for your time there. And as you say, of course, it's going to, really be important, the support that gets to be given to this particular community, especially because, you really can see that they are deeply disturbed and distressed by what has happened. And certainly we will also try to reach out to MEC Xolile Nqatha there, who's going to also be talking to us from his vantage point on what exactly did he find there when he was speaking to this family. 18 people from this particular family in two separate incidents, and you listen to just how the community is describing what is said to have happened there. And also at some point the delay in response time when it comes to police is something that has been talked about as well. But also this is a community that appears to have gone through this before. As they talk about, for them, you listen to that one gentleman who was saying that this is a common occurrence and they don't know why people are being killed. So certainly this is a very, very big story that is developing, and we will continue then to bring you more on it.